Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Ara from the Spring Team again. This is not the Raccoon Den. I'm in Vancouver, visiting family. I don't know if you know this about me, but half my family is out here. My wife is from here. My best friend is out here. My brother lives out here, which is why I come to Vancouver so often. And I'm trying to take some holiday time, so this is my one work day. I'm about to go into another real estate agent's office and run a training for their regular weekly meeting, which I'm pretty excited about. And if you are an agent or a broker or a brokerage owner and you need one of your trainings covered, reach out. I've got an amazing bag of tricks. I can do anything from mindset stuff to market report stuff to how to deal with objections and things like that. I actually don't even like that word objection. It's kind of nasty. But anyway, so all of that stuff is possible, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about week 180. And if you're new here, that's 180 weeks since March of 2020, where I first started monitoring the data, the real estate data in Toronto in very specific communities weekly. And to this day, I still don't see anybody reporting weekly, which is kind of frustrating to constantly see people with their pretty faces up on Instagram or Facebook saying, hey, the July numbers just came out, and it's like halfway through August. It's so frustrating because you've missed the trends. You've missed all of the exciting things that happen week over week, and you're way behind the 8 ball, and you're probably not able to service your clients at the highest possible level, which is why this weekly reporting has been so vital to me and our clients to help make super smart decisions, even in extreme sellers markets, extreme buyers markets, etc. You can always make a really strong and smart decision if you can spot some trends before these monthly numbers come out. And I'm always really curious, actually. I'm just on the street right now, and everybody who walks by is like staring directly at me for a really long time. Is it weird watching somebody with a tripod on a street? I don't think it's weird. I'm totally comfortable with it. Whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, so let's look at the numbers. And the one thing that I've been doing, so once you click through to the article, you will see now one of the first lines there is a link to this time last year. So you can see exactly what's been going on in the market, specifically then, and even go back further on your own if you want to look at the year before and the year before that, because now we have 3 years of actual data to report on, which is actually really cool to help you understand how immaterial these like short-term swings in the market actually are, which is why the whole day trader mentality needs to be removed from your head when it comes to real estate. And I actually had a realization this week too about how I've been presenting these market reports. Like I've been constantly telling everybody to like not be a day trader, to not, focus on these short-term swings and all that stuff. But I'm reporting data like a day trader and reacting like a day trader to this stuff. So although this weekly reporting is absolutely vital if you're an active buyer or seller, it is not at all important to you if you're neither of those things. If you have a property and you don't need to sell it, hang on to that thing and forget about all this noise right now, because none of it matters. Sure, you're inflating, these interest rates might be affecting your payments and stuff like that, but focus on that with your bank and your lender and figure out something that works there. I know there is still some flexibility with banks. I told you my story already a couple of weeks ago about how my mortgage payment went almost to $10,000 a month, from almost half of that, like a 67 to 70% increase in my payment, which is not fun. And I don't know, not everybody's going to be able to handle that kind of bump in their mortgage payment. So, there are going to be some opportunities ahead. There are some opportunities right now, but I still firmly believe that the bottom of the market is behind us, and all of the sort of reductions in price that we're seeing in the market right now are giving back some of the gains that were had at the unexpected gains that we had at the beginning of this year. But I don't want to get all repetitive because we talked about a lot of that last week. So this week, what really stands out for me is that the supply for houses is 40 units below where it was last year. And at this time last year, we had 7 weeks in a row of declining supply. So the housing market, or houses specifically, last year at this time, were coming out of a buyer's market as rates were climbing. Listen, this is August last year. This is when the market started to really, really turn. But it also showed us that, again, proved once again that we do not have panic sellers in Toronto, because from March to August, there had been a dramatic increase in rates and sentiment was at its absolute lowest. So even at that time, people weren't selling. But remember, at that time, homeowners weren't yet feeling these massive interest rate hikes. They weren't feeling, sorry, there's a truck. I don't know if you can hear that. They weren't feeling these massive, the effects of these hikes. They were seeing the hike. Some people were on their fixed payment variable mortgages who weren't feeling it in the pocketbook yet, which is why it's really, really important to understand that any of the changes that happen with interest rates, with whatever it is, will take some time before they manifest in the real world, before people actually need to sell their house, before people's payments reach a point where they need to make some serious changes in their lifestyle, or else they're in danger of losing that asset. We're seeing that happen now. People are now starting to sell their cottages, some luxury items and things like that, but doing whatever they can to hold on to that piece of Toronto real estate. And that is always the last thing people will let go. And with all of the available private lender money, B lender money, some flexibility with some of the banks, but I really wouldn't count on a bank to bail you out, even though they've been bailed out a million times, but that's a different topic altogether. What I'm getting at here is you have so many funding options that if you can weather this storm, then you will end up in a better position if you hang on to that asset at the end of the day. But listen, some people just cannot, and some people just need to make a lifestyle decision to sell. And there's so many different conversations that there's no way for me to address should you sell or should you buy in one video right now. That is more of a one-on-one conversation that we need to have together to see if it makes sense for you. And believe it or not, I know I sell real estate and I run a team that sells real estate, but we're not here just to tell you, hey, it's always a good time to buy or sell. We're here to tell you that we need to talk about it, and you need to decide once you have all the information in front of you whether it's a good time for you. We're not reacting from a place of fear. We're not reacting from a place of emotion. We're just going to look at why did you call us to sell your home, and does that make sense for you once we map it all out? Are you just selling it because you're worried that the market's going to tank? How old are you? Are you close to retirement? Maybe selling does make sense to free up those funds to live a comfortable retirement. Are you younger? Maybe selling does not make sense right now because you've got a lot of time to ride out whatever storm we're in right now. And I wouldn't even call this a storm. Many would have you believe that it is, but I wouldn't call this a storm. This is not just a simple seasonal, ebb in the market as well. Okay, let's not get that twisted. There is stuff happening. Things are at play that are causing all of this stuff right now. But when there wasn't all this stuff at play, we're pretty much at the same level of sales, same average price, same everything, with the exception of condos who are, we're at 1,607 listings for condos this time last year. We're at 2,137 right now. So that is a 400, 500 more condo listings in the market right now, but condo prices are up. So the demand for condos are still there. And as rates get more expensive and people are still needing to buy a home for themselves, some are transitioning from looking for a freehold property or a house that's way more expensive and transitioning into a condo, which is why I love condo investments in Toronto, because they will always have a group of buyers, of course, depending on the type of condo. But despite what some people will have you believe, condos are a phenomenal investment in Toronto if, of course, it's done right. Some pre-construction makes sense, some pre-construction doesn't make sense. In fact, a lot of pre-construction doesn't make sense to me, but some people still buy it, and I've seen people build tremendous portfolios, people who are patient build tremendous portfolios with pre-construction. So, I find the majority of people that hate on pre-construction are people that don't invest in pre-construction. So why are we even listening to those people? I prefer to listen to people that are talking about the very thing that they are actively successfully investing in or have learned some hard lessons from. So these are the people that I seek out when I'm looking for advice, and they're the people that you should seek out when you're looking for advice. And always ask questions. When you hear a piece of information from a TikTok creator on Twitter, or on Facebook, on Instagram, dig deeper. Why is this person saying what they're saying? What's their motivation? Like, where do they get their information from? And is the thing that they're talking about an anomaly, or is it like more of a long-term kind of thing? So, or not a long-term kind of thing, a more common occurrence. So all of these things are questions that you should be asking, and not just taking sound bites and various pieces of content at face value. There's so much more to the story usually. So anyway, so this week I didn't dig too much into the stats on the actual blog. I dug into more of a conversation around who it makes sense, what am I trying to say? Whether it makes sense to be a seller or not, whether it makes sense to be a buyer or not. That's really the conversation I'm digging into this week, and I'm having with a lot of my clients. I've talked a number of clients out of selling. I've talked a number of clients into picking up some investments, especially in the assignment world. Let's not forget how strong assignments are right now for buyers. We're getting deals like all over the place. I think I told you last week how a client of ours is literally walking away from $100,000 deposit and giving that to the new buyer, the assignee, who's buying a unit at a phenomenal price. These things exist today, and if you have any cash, you need to be in touch with me right now so we can talk about some of these available opportunities. Like, these are better deals right now in some projects than I've seen the entire time the market's been kind of going up and down. So anyway, that's a whole other conversation. There really aren't too many opportunities anywhere outside of assignments right now. Last week I put out a post and I talked to a number of people that responded to try and identify some opportunities in land or freehold. I mean, we have one solid land opportunity in Wasaga Beach where there are 4 fully approved shovel-ready lots that The seller is willing to let go at his cost, which is super cheap. And considering they're shovel ready, we're talking, you know, these Airbnb ready Wasaga Beach prime land investments that would do well, but you need like $2 million to make this thing happen, and not many people are rolling around with $2 million. Hopefully we have that property sold today or tomorrow, but we'll see as some dust settles there with some people we're talking to. But anyway, long story short, I think that again, the sky is not falling like we talked about last week. There's still great opportunity for some sellers, for some buyers. Just depends on what street you're on, what neighborhood you're in, etc. And if you want to discuss some options that are available to you, reach out. I've got my Calendly link below, so you can book yourself directly into my calendar. And again, if you're a real estate broker or a team leader, or you manage a real estate office or whatever it is, then reach out and we'll set up a training for your team. We do it all the time on various topics, and I'll post a recording of the training that I'm doing today later, so you guys can see what that is all about. And obviously, if you are a homeowner, let's talk about what moving out of that home might look like for you. But I'll probably try and tell you to hang on to it, which is what I do most of the time. So anyway, so this is Ara, founder of the Spring Team, not in the Raccoon Den, in Vancouver, and looking very much forward to some time off at the end of this summer. I'm going to try and find a way to continue the market report, but I really need just like a week to do absolutely nothing, and that's the last week of August for me. So if it's the last week of August and you want to call me, don't. There's a million other agents that can help you out then. But just kidding, send me a message and somebody will reply. Anyway, Spring Team out. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. Bye.